Yo, it's your boy Warbone. You to the U2K! So I got a reaction for y'all today. Let's begin. Yo, I got a good one for y'all today. The story from But True. And he called his story My Friend's Sister. Now, this should be an interesting story. We all have a friend who has a sister that you dated, you've been interested in, or you someone dating your sister, whatever the case may be, or whatever the case may be. Like I say, this is gonna be an interesting story. I don't know what's it about. I just assume that's what it's about. So anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's get to it.
As a kid, I had this friend. We're gonna call him Devonte. And pretty much like any kid, we went to school, we played video games on the weekend, just basic kid shit. But behind the scenes, there was always this one thing about our friendship that kind of just irked the fuck out of me, dude. At the time that we were friends, he was also dating my sister. One, I didn't like my sister dating anyone. And two, any brother will tell you that no matter who your sister dates, it cannot be one of your friends.
The boys talk,
That's
innit?
true.
So I'm sorry to tell you, ladies, but we know all that freak shit you be getting up to in the bedroom, and I really don't want to be in a situation where my boy is telling me some stuff like, "Oh, bro, your sister is a freak for real. Like last night, I must have slapped her with a dustbin and it made her come." I don't want to hear stuff like that. I don't want to hear that. Like, can you imagine playing a game with this guy and you're banging him, yeah, and you start clowning him and he just looks you dead in your face and says some shit like, "I want to clot your sister's bumhole after this." I can't be okay with that.
And back then, I was a chill kid. The darkest depths of my personality hadn't formed yet. So despite my feelings about it, I was fairly passive. My sister's happy, that's all that matters to me, that she's happy. So long as he wasn't being a total dick about it, I was fine with it. Here's the thing. I know people describe living in the projects as a generally shitty situation. And I acknowledge that 100%, and I agree. But if I'm being real, right? Sometimes the shit was poppin'. There was no such thing as a boring fucking day in the projects. Any given time that you woke up, you had something to look forward to. Whether it was baby mama drama, a couple of niggas fighting over a game of cards, someone being thrown out because they were cheating on their partner. Shootouts were not fun. I don't care what anybody tells you. Shootouts were not fun. But the one thing as a kid that I used to love the most were the hallway bashes.
Nigga, what's a hallway bash?
That's when all the younger people in the projects would just randomly post up in one of the hallways. Some nigga would bring a speaker or some shit, and they would all go ape shit in the hallway. People twerking on each other and going crazy. I mean, it only got worse when niggas started fighting. So all the kids planned the next hallway bash, and I obviously wanted to go, right? But my mom had heard about these hallway bashes and didn't want either of her children to have anything to do with it. So I knew.
A hallway bash? Question. Have any of y'all ever this situation called a hallway bash before?
That if I were to go, then I would have to do it without her figuring it out. Plus my sister planned to go too, and gotta admit I was not a huge fan of seeing her twerk on my friend, but I was gonna have to swallow my pride. And this is where the plot thickens. So the day of the hallway bash, I told my mom that I was gonna be at a friend's house for the entire day, so that way I had an excuse to be out of the apartment so it wouldn't look suspicious if I left the house right before the hallway bash happened. She was fine with me leaving the house for most of the day, as long as I came back and checked in every 3 hours. So once I left, I took a Teen Titans stopwatch, and I set it to go off in exactly 2 hours. So that way I would remember to check in, and my mom wouldn't come looking for me. I was outside for most of the day, being sure to check in as often as I could so I can gain my mom's trust before, inevitably, I took advantage of it. When it was time for the hallway bash, I went with my sister and her boyfriend. The second I entered the hallway that they were throwing it in, there were teenagers and preteens lined up all the way from one end of the hallway to the other one, and everybody's just having a good ass time. And I hopped right into shit. It was my first time ever being twerked on. Marcus, you ever get twerked on by a fat girl?
I have actually, but she was arrested shortly after because she didn't have a driving license to operate that dump truck of a bunda, you know what I mean?
So
Dump truck.
And after a while, I'm posted up in the back, trying my fucking best to look as cool as
What
possible.
the world?
Dante walks up to me, and next to him is this girl. Now, for a second, I was gonna throat kick him because I thought he was cheating on my sister. And I kill niggas for that. So, right as I'm preparing to kick him in the nuts, He says, "Hey Deshante, do you mind watching out for my sister for me and making sure none of these niggas touch her? My mom just called me back to the house and I don't want to get caught being here." Keep in mind, I didn't even know he had a sister until this very second, but I tell him okay and he leaves to check in with his mom. I look at my stopwatch and see I have about 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Hey, you know what? That's true. A lot of guys are young. We have friends, guys friends that we close to. We never know they have sisters until it's just out of the blue. That is very true.
Left before I have to go back and check in. She sees me looking at it and says, "Oh yeah, I like Teen Titans," and we end up talking about that for a bit. After a while, she starts looking back at other people while they're twerking and stuff. She then changes the subject to how she loves to dance. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, dancing's cool, yeah, it's whatever." And she's like, "It's a shame my brother doesn't want me to twerk because it looks really fun." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I get it though. I don't like my sister doing that kind of stuff either." But as I say that, I realize something. This dude he's kind of an asshat. Because look, I'm sat here watching my sister dance on him in plenty of ways that he doesn't want his sister dancing on anyone. So I'm like, that doesn't really seem fair. Standing there thinking about it got me kind of heated. And that is when that competitive spirit in me awakens for one of the first times. Internally, I was like, not only am I gonna have his sister dance on me, but I'm gonna make out with her until her fucking face falls off. You know,
Wow.
you don't have to listen to him. You can do whatever you want. It's your life. Why is it fair that he gets to do everything that he tells you not to do? Doesn't sound like he's setting a good example to me. If we're being real, I could tell she wanted to dance on me. She was just looking for an excuse, and I gave her one. So technically...
Yeah, you're still an asshole.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So we get to dancing and shit, and honestly, she sucks at twerking. But I can't judge that because I'm no good at being twerked on anyway. Like, the whole time she's twerking, I'm just behind her doing the robot and shit. So we're dancing, and
What?
Nicole comes out of one of the doors in the hallway and shuts down the party and says, "We all got 20 seconds to leave before he calls everyone's parents." And you know, being like as young as we were at the time, it seemed like all grown folks like tend to just know each other around the projects. So I believed him and I'm like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of Dodge because I'm not trying to get spanked. The apartment complex we lived in had a washer and dryer on the top floor of every building. So me, her, and my sister ended up waiting in the laundry room for Devontae to come back from his apartment. My sister kind of got the vibe that Devontae's sister liked me, and being the best freaking big sister ever, she kind of just left the both of us to it. I look at my stopwatch, and at this point, I've only got like 30 minutes left. My competitive spirit is like, a promise is a promise. It's now or never. You want to make out? I think the worst part is that it actually worked. I had only ever kissed one girl before her at this point, and it was awful. We were both 5 years old, and her nose was snotty and gross. This happens for like 15 minutes. Keep in mind, we're kids at this point, and we don't really know how to kiss, so we're just doing that thing that little kids do when they put their lips together and just move their fucking faces side to side. After that, I looked at my clock and was like, you know what? I did good. Now time for me to go home and avoid this ass whooping like a boss. And just because I really want to top myself, I'll even stop by the corner store and get me one of those.
What happened?
The door was stuck and it would not open. I tried pulling the door again. She's like, "Do you think your sister locked it from the outside?" And I'm like, "No. Because the handle is in my hand." She instantly starts freaking the hell out, and I am too, because if I don't get home in the next 10 minutes, my mom is gonna beat me with her belt until I shit leather. She starts hyperventilating and crying because her mom is probably gonna kill her as well. I'm like spazzing at this point, yanking the door, trying to kick it down with my tiny ass feet, pulling under little end parts of it, doing everything to get out, and it won't open. I can already feel my ass whooping at this point. I'm watching the timer go down, and every single second that passes is harder my whooping is gonna be and louder my heart beats. Whole time she's in the back screaming and crying, not making the situation better for any of us, and eventually I notice. I don't have any time left. I'm dead. My mom is gonna kill me. I think I'll just sit here for a second and try to experience what it's like to be alive before that gets taken away from me. Just then, my mom's friend opens the door, confused as hell as to what two kids are doing in the laundry room alone. Before she could even try to put it together, I jet past her and run home.
Did you make it in time?
Nope, I got my ass beat.
Oh.
Oh, and once my mom's friend ratted on me, my mom came back for seconds. This is childhood trauma, man. But yeah, that was the time I got my ass whipped to a cream like a Twinkie. Like a Twinkie.
Wow.
What's up, True Crew? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and subscribe to all my friends that helped me out with this video. I'll be chilling in social media all day, so send me some requests. Shout out to Slept On TJ for copping the Cherry Blossom hoodie this time around. Don't forget to @ me to be shouted out in the next.
Okay, that was an interesting situation he was in. The fact that his best friend was dating his sister, and when he found out about his homie had a sister, he took advantage of the situation because he felt some type of way. And if I'm being honest, I think a lot of us guys would have felt the exact same way. Your best boy, your boy dating your sister, and then you find out he has a sister and tells you don't let her do something that you wouldn't want to see your sister to do, and you take advantage of the situation. I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have done the same. No, even I would probably done the same. I probably took advantage of the situation just because. So, tell me what y'all think if y'all would have done the same thing. Like, subscribe, Robot out.